Last week on Bebop was all about fitting our new through holes and installing new backing plates.
This week on Bebop, we laminate some patches, fix some nasty surprises, and finally, we install our new through holes. We hope you enjoy this week's adventure aboard Bebop.
Hi, I'm Simon.
And I'm Stuart.
This week is crazy. We're getting splashed next week, so
We have a lot of work we need to get done, and it's been a lot of work just to get to where we're at now.
we really gotta hurry.
Let's get to it.
Now that the epoxy is cured, we can drill the holes in each of the backing plates. This is probably the easiest project we have had this week.
So I'm here sitting on the floor here in the galley, and we're dealing with our galley through hull. So there was this backing plate that was placed down for it, and they drilled 3 holes all the way through the hull to install this through hull. This one right here. And we're not using a through hull like this anymore, so we don't need the 3 holes that they drilled. And I'd like three less holes in my boat. Thing is, there are 3 of those holes in the backing plate as well, and it's 5,200 in, so the best answer here, the do it right way, is to remove the backing plate that has been 5,200 down and fill in the holes properly with thickened epoxy and fiberglass. So, to do this, we're pulling out big tools. We're going to use a nice big pry bar, and we're just going to yank that sucker out as best as we can. We're not going to be reusing this backing plate, so if it's destroyed, we don't care. What we do care about is that we are able to repair this spot appropriately and in a timely fashion. This is the backing plate we're removing, and we have these 3 holes here. And as you can see, there's daylight coming through them. So we're gonna remove this backing plate that's been 5,200 down. You can maybe see some of it like right here squeezing out. And then it's all kind of gunk in the hole. Anyway, we'll try removing this. And once it's removed, we can start fixing the hull up. I got the backing plate out. Finally. It took all 3 pry bars and some very clever and connivingness to remove them. I actually used the multi-tool for a little bit to help free up a little bit of space underneath this old backing plate so that I could sneak in a small pry bar. Small pry bar made room for the medium pry bar. Medium pry bar made room for the big pry bar. Big pry bar gave me lots and lots of leverage, thank you Archimedes, that allowed me to just pull up very nicely the old backing plate. Yeah. It worked out. Let's just go with that, yeah. While I was questioning my life choices on the galley floor, what was Simon doing? Now that we have ground out all of these so that we can do our taper to do the fiberglass patch, we're going around and measuring how big we need to cut the patches. Also measuring how deep, because this is a 3/4 inch solid laminate hull. So we could go the full 3/4 and do 12-to-1 taper on both sides, But that would probably mean, well, the patch would be ginormous, right? Because it's 12:1. If you go with half, that'd probably easily be a 12-inch or even 18-inch patch.
Yikes. So what are we doing instead?
So instead, we're going to fill these with a plug using probably G10 and lots of thickened epoxy. And that will act as filler. And then we are doing, on the outside, we're going to do 4 layers of 1708 biaxial fiberglass. And that will be tapered into the hull so that we get back to nice and fair. We're also going to do on the inside, depending on the through hull, between 2 and 3 layers of glass.
Yeah, I drew those circles freehand. With heavy 1708 biaxial glass, this is good enough and gets the job done. It is easier to cut a perfect circle than draw one anyways. Also, shout out to Dad for letting us borrow his power scissors. While Simon cut the patches, I made all of the plugs we're going to use to fill the holes.
Ready to go? Let's go. I'm ready. 5 pump? 5 pump. 5 pump. 1, 5. How much are you getting out? What? That's how much you're gonna have. Okay. Ready? Ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Several major boat brands and many dreams have been burnt to ashes from runaway epoxy reactions. No matter how big or small the project, we always exercise extreme caution when working with epoxy. We first lay down a layer of epoxy thickened to the consistency of catsup. This is to fill in any voids before laying down the thick 1708 glass.
Decent. It runs a little bit, but once I get a thin layer going, it stops running. You should go ahead and get the glass down behind me. Go ahead, moving.
The glass is then saturated in place. We've tried pre-wetting before, but it is too easy for the shape of the glass to become distorted, and it makes a huge mess.
Yeah, there we go. That's saturated. Okay, moving.
We then repeat the process on the outside. Thickened epoxy to fill the voids, from the grinder followed by 4 layers of glass with decreasing radii.
Yeah. Is that good coverage? Good enough. 5 pots of epoxy, and the lamination is done.
And I am back to sanding. Need to get rid of the blush and ready the patch for fairing compound. Until this happened. Our patch managed to go right over a blister, causing some of the epoxy to fail due to water damage. Fortunately, the damage was very shallow and easily fixed with a little bit of fairing compound.
Now that we've got the Thru Hulls glassed over, we're going to fair them out with some total fair from Total Boat. Start with part A, equal parts. Now I don't think we're going to do very much, so... Alright, that was part A. And we're going to use part B. Equal?
Well, a little more of blue. More blue.
That much more?
Yeah, call that good, and I guess you can start mixing it.
To mix it, we're just gonna fold it.
Please excuse my amateur fairing work. This is my first time ever doing it. After the fairing has cured, it is time to sand. I took this opportunity to get some other sanding done as well. And real quick, we need to patch the holes in the galley. A reamer to clean the holes, and a 45-degree bit to either side to clean them up. Then, we stuff these holes with lots of thickened epoxy.
So, I am sitting here under the boat and we're about to cut some Thru Hulls. Let's take a look at how I'm going to be doing that. One of the things that we've done is we've gone ahead and stuck each of these Thru Hulls into the hull, threaded them into the seacocks until they bottomed out, and then pulled down on this so that the seacock was sitting flush to the hull. Then, right at the hull, we marked this line here, and this line to the cap here, this lip, is how much material we have to remove at a minimum to be able to have this entire system sitting inside properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on the inside, just on the inside of that line, and I'm going to use our multi-tool with this nice little cutter. I'm going to go nice and slow, do it nice and easy. Hopefully this doesn't, hopefully I don't do this wrong, otherwise it's a $200 mistake. Let's try this. This is scary. You know what, real quick, let's make sure. Okay, so since I really do not want to make a $200 mistake, went ahead, got Simon's help, and we marked where on the through hull it sticks out of the hull.
So this mark right here, that's where the hull is.
We only need
5 threads in to be projecting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That many. And that black line at the back, that is where we're going to be cutting. We'll just cut on the inside of that. Do that, and we should definitely have enough threads. Hopefully not too many. And that gives us some room for error. So if we have to recut it, we can. Hopefully we don't. Alright, time for cutting.
Alright, that's what I thought.
I ended up using a little bit of blue tape to more quickly mark the cut. And now, I repeat the process for the remaining through hulls.
We are getting closer to having our through hulls installed. We just got all of them dry fitted and properly indexed. And now we're preparing to actually install all of them. Let's take a look at this. Alright, so we're here in the forward head. We have these 2 marks. In here, one there, and those are going to line up with the scrolls of the seacock. And that tells us the position that the seacock needs to be in. Now that we have them indexed, we can move on to the next thing. The way this is going to work is, on the outside, we're going to place a bead, nice big thick bead of Sikaflex 291 around the head of the through hull, maybe a little bit up the threads as well. Squeeze this all together, give it like an 1/8 of a turn kind of deal, and that should be the through hull installed. Now, before we get to that, we need to do something else first. A couple of our seacocks have elbows on them. Because of the size of some of our seacocks, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach a couple elbows to a couple of our seacocks so that we do not have to spin on the elbows after having them installed. There's just some interference issues to deal with, that kind of thing. Anyway, let's get to work.
Through hull. Elbow. This stuff go together. Pipe though. Alright, it's done. It's all put together.
We apply Sika 291 sealant to the base and threads of each through
Ready?
hull.
Going up. Can you get started? Can I start spinning?
One of the trickiest parts was getting the valve started on the through hull, but only spinning the outside through hull fitting.
Now that we got it all lathered up, it's time to stick it in.
I think we did a good job because we got lots of squeeze out. Initially, I cleaned up the excess with a gloved finger.
Alright, that good? That looks good.
However, I eventually settled on cleaning up with a paper towel over a gloved finger.
Looks good to me.
We finally did it! The through hulls are installed! It took quite a lot of work just to get to this point for us. 90% has been boring prep work, which we know is boring for the audience.
but 10% has been absolute chaos and just about getting the execution done.
Yep.
We would not be here without all of that prep work.
So look forward to next week where we might be splashing the boat. We shall see.
So, will we make our splash date? Will she even float? Let us know in the comments down below.
If you enjoyed, please leave a like.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Alright, get the video exported.
Let's go!